So, guys, as someone who has experienced life both as a fit person and as a bigger fat person, there is an uncomfortable truth that I would like to admit, and that is the fact that people treat you differently based on your size. I know there is a lot of probably disagreements about this. Not everybody's going to agree with me on this one. But from my experience, it certainly feels that way, right? And I just want to talk about it from my angle and what I've noticed and picked up and experienced both sizes, right? First of all, like I covered in my previous video, when it comes to romantic relationships, I feel personally like men tend to treat you better when you are smaller versus if you're an obese person. Especially when it comes to the situation of cheating and loyalty, I think there's this certain stigma that men have that it's probably not a stigma, honestly, guys, if we're being real. It's just the truth. Slim people have more options in the dating scene versus bigger people, right? And therefore, slim people are less prone to accepting bad treatment from men as opposed to bigger people. At least in my experience, when I was slim and I was fit and I was healthy and I was confident and I looked good, there's certain levels of treatments that I would not accept from men. But as I gained weight and became obese according to BMI, which it's true, I became less strict because I knew the honest truth is that I don't have as many options as I used to. Right? So we tend to take on more, and men also know that. I mean, if you're like looking like this, and I'm going to use my pictures, right? Because I'm not trying to bash anybody. If you're a guy watching this video and you meet this lady, right? And then you meet this lady. Honestly speaking, which of these two ladies would you say has a higher chance of, being approached by a guy? Obviously the first one, right? And if you were in a relationship with both, I know it's not a good thing, guys. I know there are great, good men out there, but hey, this is 2025. Let's be real. If you're a guy and when it comes to cheating, would you cheat on this one or on this one, if we're being honest? The truth is, this one, if you cheat on her, she'll walk out and she'll find the next best guy. This one, on the other hand, she ain't got that much options. And you as a guy know it. In fact, you think, oh Lord, I'm saving this one. So from a relationship point of view, honestly, size matters. It really does. And I'm not saying everybody. There's great, wonderful men out there. I've seen them and I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? But that's just the honest truth, guys. That's the honest truth. And from my personal experience, right? The other thing is when it comes to business, as someone who has worked in corporate and who has transitioned into being a full-time business, person, I deal with clients a lot, and I've always dealt with clients a lot throughout the different sizes that I am. And I can tell you for sure and for a fact, once I had gained the weight, I struggled with getting more out of clients versus when I had not. And it's harder to negotiate. Yes, if you've got great negotiating skills, you can, but at the end of the day, if you walked into, say, a boardroom and you're going to do a business proposal and there was a bidding happening and your company and your profile had the exact same, level of weight as the other person, you walk in, you're, obese and even if you put in effort to look great, you know what I mean, and then the other lady walks in and she's, let's be honest, as soon as she walks in, especially if the people in that boardroom are men, she's gonna get the contract. That's just the honest truth. And I'm saying this because I have experienced it. It's harder to negotiate with clients. It's harder to ask for more with clients when your outward looks are a certain way. Especially if the person you're dealing with has a very particular bias towards sizes. If you're dealing with someone who just not naturally, they just feel like bigger people are lazy or less competent, it's the same stereotype as some men thinking women are not smart. It exists in size too. So it's honestly the truth. I'm not able to make nearly as much money as I would be able to make once I drop the weight. And I will come back here after a year once I've dropped the weight. And I will tell you my experience with business. And I'm telling you, it's going to be different because it was different then. And that's just the truth, right? Also, when it comes to like the society at large, what I've realized, and it's just a sad thing, and what is sad also is I used to be part of that bunch of people who think like that until I was in the same shoes. What I've also picked up is somehow there is this link that the society has created between laziness, competency, intelligence, and body weight. Somehow an obese person is thought to be lazy. And I have been seen slim people who are genuinely lazy. And there can be a big person who's a pusher, who works hard, but they have to prove themselves more than the person that looks socially acceptable or pleasing. That's just the truth. Somehow the society associates big people, obese people with laziness. They see you, they instantly think you're lazy. They instantly feel like they can't trust you with their money and this and that. There is just that general, feeling in the society that people tend to look at you as though you're a lazy person because you're a bigger person. And again, guys, this is not me sharing stuff I've learned from research. No, it's me telling you as someone who is currently fat, obese, and who has been for the last probably 3 years, and who was considered socially, according to the standards of the society, not my standards, more appealing. My experiences were not the same. They definitely were not. I've heard this phrase about pretty privilege. It really truly is a thing, and it's unfortunately it is a thing. And the other one again is related to society. One sec. Is this, and this one I had to really dig deep to really actually see this one, and it's crazy. Have you guys noticed how the concept of femininity when it comes to women is very subjective? Or maybe it's my experience. I feel like a woman that is big is considered to be less feminine than a woman that is not big. This whole concept of damsel in distress, it almost feels like in the society, the word damsel in distress refers more so to the princess looking kind of girl, slim or healthy or fit. But if you're like 500 pounds, just as an example, I know that's extreme. I feel like, and you say, oh, I'm just a damsel in distress. Societally, it's like, no, you're just a lazy ass, whatever. You know what I mean? But if you're like skinny, you can be like, oh my goodness, I'm a damsel in distress. And it's like, oh, you know what I mean? So it almost feels like as the society, and this is not just men, it's generally, and I've been also in that position where I felt that way, right? When you see someone who's bigger, they just don't seem to have that much feminine energy. They may have it, but we don't perceive it. Not the same way we perceive other people. Even simple things like, as an example, if you see And I've seen a lot of actually videos on the internet also hinting this a little bit. If you are a big lady and you're walking around and you're carrying boxes and they fall, you're going to pick them up on your own, unless some nice ass lady tries to help you generally. Or even if someone helps you, it's not going to be like they're jumping to help you. Versus if you're this girl, this thin, good-looking girl, as soon as you show a moment of struggling in public, trust me, the guys around you will want to help you. Oh, can I help you with that? Can I help you with this? But if you're fat, guys, no, not that much. Honestly speaking, not that much. For instance, even like when I go to the stores, right? Back then, I used to have a lot of guys offer to help me with, even if it's the most smallest of things. You're carrying plastics to an Uber. A guy every now and then will be like, gosh, you look like you're struggling. Can I help you? Now, as a big bag, they're like, girl, your bag will carry you to that Uber. I swear, right? And it's honestly like, it's not nice. It's not good because we're all human beings and we all deserve to be treated the same. But the honest truth is the treatment is not the same. And for those of you who've been big most of your life, you may have not been able to experience the other side. So it may seem like I'm lying, right? But once you lose the weight, trust me, you will experience life so much more differently, right? Even things like at the gym. I used to work out a lot when I was fit. Like I said, I used to be very healthy and active. And if I was at the gym and I was struggling with a machine or something, trust me, one dude is going to come and ask if I'm okay and try to offer to help me. But now as a big bag, no. I remember the other day I was at the gym alone. Actually, it's yesterday, crazy. I was at the gym and there's this new machine that it's like you squat or whatever. I just could not figure out how it works. Like I was literally kneeling down trying to read instructions. Nobody, and there were like guys around me. Nobody bothered to come and say, Madam, is everything okay? Do you need help? But I can guarantee you, if I was a slim girl with tights and, all these things looking great, someone was going to notice and they were going to come and offer to help me. It's just honestly like the honest truth. Even when it comes to socializing, right? From what I've realized is when you're big, you don't attract, like people don't feel the need to socialize with you more. Another example, I love Starbucks. Those who've been here know that Starbucks is my weakness. Even before I gained the weight, I used to like going to Starbucks to just sit and work and be productive. And I used to meet a lot of people at Starbucks, right? And it was good for business. Some were guys and all of that stuff. Guys, I've been going to Starbucks since I gained this weight. I didn't go a lot because I had a moment of isolation. But last year, I started going back there just to work and be productive. And I'm telling you, there has not even a single soul has said hi to me at Starbucks. I'm not saying I'm seeking attention. Okay, I'm a loner and I love being alone and it's great. But not a single human being has said, hey, by the way, what you doing there? Oh, you always have noticed. Trust me, if I was this girl, and I'm saying this because I was this girl, I know how it went. Someone would have been like, and there's people there who also come very often and they see me. Not a single one of these human beings have said, by the way, you're always here. Like, what do you do for a living? Just out of interest. I'm not like, it's just the truth, guys. It's how I've experienced being big. You just have more work to prove yourself in the society when you're a big person. You have to prove that you're smart. You have to prove that you're competent. You have to prove that you're not lazy. You have to also put in more effort in that's why most of the time I see big people who are confident and all of that, they have to put in a lot more effort in how they look and how they smell and all of these things, just to show that I'm a feminine woman. You know what I mean? But if you're like thin or not even thin, like healthy looking, right? You can wear like sweatpants and a cap and just walk around, and still you'll get better treatment or experience the world differently. And I'm saying it as someone who's experienced it. It's just how, unfortunately, how it is. Anyways, this is just me sharing. I guess it's like a review of being big and being, fit, as someone who's been on both sides of the spectrum. I'm still a big bag, obviously 200 pounds, and I can't wait to shed. But until then, I'm still learning how to accept and love myself, irregardless of what society says on how they treat me. But yeah, anyways, I'd like to actually hear if you guys have experienced the world in a different way from how I have, or if you've had similar experiences, especially if you've gained weight and you've been on both sides. So yeah, that's it.